Communitarianism, What Are the Implications for Education by James Arthur. I'm John, and with my partners James and Bernita, we'll be talking about communitarianism. First of all, what is it? It's ambiguous, maybe an extension of socialism, a kind of liberalism, perhaps close to fascism, or a reaction to American individualism. Communitarianism emerged in the 1970s. It challenged liberal political theory. Communitarians were a mixed group of philosophers and social scientists. Now, some like being called communitarians, but some preferred the term liberal. Communitarianism was led by Amitai Etzioni, pictured here, and he's led the communitarian movement for several decades, and it is a movement that has become very highly politicized. In communitarianism, community, of course, is a key concept. People are embedded in communities. The self is constituted through the community. And there is a sharing of cultural traditions, language, history, religion, and social understandings. And a person's values are very much socially formed. According to thinkers like Sandel, pictured here, while liberalism is the politics of rights, communitarianism is the, quote, politics of the common good. This Hegelian view posits that humans are historically conditioned and the self is created through community. Over the years, Etzioni's views on communitarianism broadened and certainly came to include morality. Not a fan of Piaget and Kohlberg, Etzioni posited that you can educate students in moral values. He presented two views of human nature: benign and willing to learn, and irrational and sinful and in need of values education that could be provided through the school. For Etzioni, children who learn poor values become poor students and deficient workers. Supporting this view are Gehling and Jennings and Wilson, who criticize the omission of issues of good and right teaching in the classroom. Communitarians say school is a community and is responsible for building moral character. But is it okay for a society with communitarian values to place restrictions on behavior and communication? For instance, Charles Taylor's argument that in a traditional community it is all right to restrict the activities of their members in order to ensure the community's survival has come into question. Taylor uses Quebec's language laws as an example in restricting the teaching of English in Quebec schools. This calls to mind both the Quebec language laws and the more recent Values Charter. It also raises a question as to how far a government should go in terms of promoting a set of community values that may or may not be supported by members of the populace. According to Lacy and Fraser, it's hard to pin down a committed communitarian. Most call themselves liberals. So if communitarianism is all about community, then why is it so hard to find a definition of it in the philosophical works? The relationship between community and people is not well defined. Lacy and Fraser call communities an assumption rather than an explained or defined entity. They're geographic political entities that we think are just there, and yet for communitarians, they exist as a sociological idea. So where is communitarianism going? It continues to evolve. While common values and community look good on paper, they mean different things to different people. Communitarian sits between socialism and capitalism, but its secular, rhetorical take on moral education is unclear. Some say communitarianism is a counterbalance to liberalism, and Arthur sees one of its dangers as silencing the individual in favor of the community. It continues to be quite a journey for communitarians.